satisfied that the provision is appropriate.
Kris Faafoi.
Just to continue along that line then, I understand the point that the Minister is making as to some that may already have obligations because they may fall under different regulations. My question is then, shouldn't the law be more specific then about those that aren't in that category? Because my understanding is that companies that may enter into this kind of practice would quite happily go to court and answer the difference between must and may, and could quite easily, if we're going to quibble over two words, put up quite a fight over whether it is actually obligated to submit a decommissioning plan if it thinks it can argue in a court of law that it need not to. And my challenge is, do we need to be more specific about those that may fall under that category, to therefore not leave the possibility open that someone may take advantage of the word may instead of must?
Eugenie Sage.